Hello there everybody, What Culture Wrestling's Adam Clear here, back again for your hashtag Good Afternoons, and joined as ever by Adam... No, you're not Adam Nicholas.
No, I ate Adam Nicholas. I'm Gareth Morgan.
Yep, well, we can work with that. Coming up for you today, we have lots of lovely wrestling news stories, including...
Why Aleister Black hasn't been on television.
Stardom are trying to sign 2 WWE stars.
And which WWE superstars finally got their first name back.
Welcome to the Good After thing. I already did the thing. Coming up for you first, AEW have win and loss records, which has been one of the more interesting parts of their production cycle, but we've wondered, will they actually count for all that much? So far we've seen on their website everybody getting their wins totted up in the singles, their losses totted up, their tag teams, their trios, everything, and this is all supposed to lead, we're led to believe, into logical storylines and number one contenders being correctly chosen after a long period of things. But the problem is, what if you've been a loser in AEW for years, and then all of a sudden you go on a bit of a run? Your win-loss record's still going to look absolute ass. So the Young Bucks have said, in some tweets sent to them today, that it's going to reset. People were asking them in a bit of a Q&A, what's going to happen eventually? What are the problems they could foresee this creating, and how would they deal with them? And Nick Jackson simply said, it'll reset. There we go. Then he was asked, well, when? A double or nothing? Is it going to be a year-long cycle? And he said, looks like Jan. Which I presume meant January and not just like the name of the woman in accounting or something like that. But
Is that this January coming?
Well, imagine so. Or a Jan. Literally, all he's gone is
a lot of time,
looking
isn't it?
like Jan. The Young Bucks ever succinct.
It's not the female called Jan.
No, we hope not. So by the looks of it, these will reset possibly in the new year, which would be a good idea because then you've got this seasonal feel, and with New Year, New Me, you'd have New Year, New AEW, which is good because... Yeah. While I'm massively in favour of these win-loss records personally because they add more of a sports element to it, but you're just going to end up with really large numbers after years, and it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. So resetting them makes sense, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it's something that would lose steam over a year. I mean, it's great to kind of fuel certain runs and set up certain types of matches throughout the year. But I think after what, 10 years and you've got 100?
It's going to look stupid.
It's going to look, Chris Jericho with 2,000 wins in all of AEW history. It's not going to
The thing, they haven't quite got the hang of this yet because during the research stage for this, and thank you to Andy Murray for writing the notes, SEMA's on there, and even though they've only had 4 matches, they've got a 2-5 overall record. So we don't really know who's updating it on the back. Maybe that's what they meant by looking like Jan. It is just a woman called Jan who does these, and she will decide at some point. Either way, Jan, get your finger up because those ones are wrong.
You are the authority.
I would like them to do power rankings. Like, I'd like them to do like a weekly sort of who's had a strong week.
Like the WWE ones that they used to.
But like actually make them count for something rather than just something for the intern in Connecticut to do.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. It's something that fans can keep up to date with in their own time as well. You could have it as a social media thing where you get a weekly kind of flash, a little video. I think that's probably the best way of going about this. Really lean into your social media presence, I guess, and not just throw random rankings out and not keep an eye on them.
Yeah, more on this as the Young Bucks tweet 3 words on the subject. What we got next?
We have got why Aleister Black hasn't been on television, wrestling, that is. Obviously, he has been on television, picking a fight.
God, I hate that.
I love it. It's great.
Do you?
No, I love it because it's horrible.
That's the thing. He was just so cool in NXT when he didn't talk, and now it's picking a fight.
It's because he's Dutch, and that's the only thing they can think with foreign entity in WWE. I'm going to stop.
Yep.
I think it makes sense right now for him not to be on television because we are hearing that he has actually injured his knee. He's had a bad knee injury, and that means that WWE have had to try and keep his on-screen presence through these spooky promos.
Being very kind there,
Spooky. Yeah, spooky promos. I think it's doing a job, I guess. We've seen them do this in the past, like, for example, when Mysterio injured himself, injured, not injured, you never know nowadays. With his shoulder, they just kind of had him on television, just filling spots. He wasn't doing weird promos about picking fights, but it makes sense. What do you think?
It does, I guess. WWE is so bad at the non-wrestling side of this. Like, Aleister Black's the quintessential example. Him and Andrade, I think, people who have been called up, who are genuinely sensational wrestlers, and yet they've just laboured with this like lame-ass stuff. Like, we thought that all the picking a fight stuff was worth persevering with, because at the end of it, he'd get a fight with somebody and be like, oh yes, because he's actually really good in the ring, and now Oh, like I'd honestly rather be ring announcing than doing it. Making it wait the ringer.
You might be on.
I was a bit Triple H that actually. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame this because they don't use these people particularly well outside of the ring, and if he's not going to be in the ring to offset how bad this stuff outside of the ring is, then it's going to hurt him in the long run, especially with people who aren't familiar with his NXT stuff. But you got to try and take the positives out of this. At least they're keeping him on television. It would be dead easy for them to just be like, "Oh, you're injured. Well, all right.
Sit on the shelf for a bit.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks."
But he's kind of meandering a little bit in the promos. They're quite neutral. It's a bit open-ended. It'll all be forgiven. Everything will be forgiven completely if, in a couple of weeks' time, Sheamus returns, Bro kicks down the door, and takes revenge for what happened to Cesaro.
Yeah, the feud we've all been waiting for.
I need it. That's what I need.
Black versus Sheamus.
Give the people what they want.
Oh, God. Actually, to be fair, I'm rolling my face at this. This would probably be actually quite a good match.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
Not that they'll do it, because they never give us anything we'd like.
The Roundhouse versus the Bro kick, it'd be great.
Actually, no, that's not a bad idea.
Do you know what I mean? Imagine that.
Genuinely, because they made quite a compelling Natalya-Becky Lynch feud off the back of who's got the best finisher, so it's who's got the best jaw kick.
Just ducks under and...
Yeah. Well, we'll see. With bated breath, wait for that one. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying Kairi Sane and Io Shirai. And that,
good segue.
They're good guys. To be fair, the segues we normally do are absolutely dreadful. What I should have done is, speaking of kicks, 2 women with feet are in the news at the minute. And Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, remember they were the Sky Pirates in NXT. Kairi went up. She's now teaming with Asuka. Io's down there doing some of the best character work I've personally ever seen her do in NXT. While Kairi Sane is... not being taken overly.
Warrior.
Yeah, she's not been taken overly seriously on the main roster, but does at least look to be having fun with what she's doing. But this could all be quite short-lived because apparently reports today, according to Big Banter Uncle Dave Meltzer at the Wrestling Observer, are that Stardom are trying to re-sign both women. Now, if you remember, that's where WWE got them from directly in the first place. But Kairi Sane's contract was apparently only a 3-year deal and is up in March next year, and apparently already making overtures to her, try and bring her back into the fold at Stardom. No news, I should say, on precisely when Io Shirai's contract expires, if indeed there is an official date for it, but they're interested in getting her back as well. This would be... I mean, once you go at the dub, you tend not to go back, do you?
Yeah.
But this would be quite an interesting one.
But the landscape being the way it's in right now, this could not have come at a worse time for WWE, really, because Kairi Sane, if she was getting her head turned by other promotions, which are doing very well right now, she'd have a decent reason to leave, I guess. Like, there's enough opportunities now compared to when she signed for WWE to go out there and actually make quite a substantial career.
Yeah,
for herself, really.
It's an interesting one because we always say people going back to the indies. That actually, if you do it well enough, we've seen like with so many people, like David Starr's a great example. Without even going to WWE, obviously Cody when he left. Loads of people are sort of shunning the big time in order to sort of chart their own path and making considerable bank in the process. But I don't know, say a slight different cultural thing in Japan. Like obviously, it's not like Kairi will be going to New Japan where you can make serious bank. The promotions are still very separate over in Japan. It'd be far tougher, I think, for a female wrestler to get back on the indies and make her own thing. I think a lot of us assumed Emma would do really, really well.
Yeah.
She's kind of floundered a bit, not really sure where she's going, but of course, if she does want to leave, there is a large North American promotion at the minute that is crying out for a big name female star to come over there, but it's none of my business, unfortunately. So yeah, I'd be very surprised if they left and went back to Stardom, of all places. No disrespect to Stardom, but it's
Do you not think New Japan would be interested?
Well, they haven't got a women's division, so
they don't, of course not.
They'd have a hard time with that one. Although they could get to do the Maria Kanellis thing, but I think we've moved on a little bit from that. Mercy. Yeah, mercy day. Yeah, it's an odd one. I think Io's probably a bad shout for that because she's not even been on the main. They haven't even ruined her on the main roster yet. Why would she do that?
No, why would you say that though? It's going to happen now.
Yeah, I don't know why I've jinxed that. Finally, we've got. This is good news. This one.
Yes, finally, someone has got their name back. That sounds like it was stolen in the night, but it kind of was.
Straight there.
Sorry. Yeah, it kind of was. Thank you very much to Reddit user Dog Ryan 100 from Squared Circle.
To Mr. and Mrs. 100 son Dog Ryan. Yeah.
Woof. WWE have now added, WWE.com have added Mustafa back to Mustafa Ali's name. This comes off the back of his part in a new documentary where he was shedding light and trying to not raise awareness, but alter perspectives of people. And I think he's such a massive babyface right now for them. He's one of the purest babyfaces in WWE right now. It kind of makes sense. It was a bit weird that it went in the first place.
It's this weird fetish WWE have with like one naming everybody. Like I liked Antonio Cesaro. I liked Alexander Rusev.
Andrade Cien Almas.
I liked Andrade Cien Almas. They just like this, and they do it with the women's division as well. Like they drop except for Charlotte, they dropped everybody. I'm amazed Becky Lynch isn't just Becky. Or Sasha Banks isn't just Sasha, but like it's
Lynch.
They have this. That's actually quite a cool name.
Lynch.
They have this really weird thing with just like keeping everybody down to one nice, memorable, marketable name that looks nice on posters and stuff. And just Mustafa Ali is a cool name.
Yeah.
Ali is very. Like, it's very interchangeable. You wouldn't even be the best Ali in sports. Like, it's just like Mustafa Ali is a very, very nice established name. It's what he came into the company with. It's what we all knew him as initially. Dropping it down to Ali was a strange choice for me. But the thing is, if it is strange that they dropped it, it's stranger to put it back.
Yeah, but do you... Right, so here's a question. Because they have given the name back, do you think that's lining him up for a little bit of a push?
A little bit of the push there? I don't know. He's been in line for one for ages. It looked like he was going to get possibly even a shot with the WWE Championship when he was working Daniel Bryan.
Yes, well, he did get a triple threat, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been in and out since he's come back. I'd like to see them use him better. All the reports from the UK house shows were that they were putting him over big time in those. I don't know. I don't know if a name change is part of that. Like, I don't even know if they think we're even going to notice this thing. It depends how it gets announced.
Well, we have, because we have a news.
And we are here to notice it for you, so you don't have to notice things.
So you can get signs up with Mustafa now in the audience.
I don't know. If this had come a year ago, I would have said maybe they were trying to cash in on like the Lion King hype, but
yeah,
that was Mufasa, wasn't it?
I was kind of like,
no,
Mufasa. That should have been his name. They should have just on his arrival to the main roster, Mufasa Ali, and then just got like on the top of a ladder.
Put him in a rivalry with Corbin, throw him off the ladder. Long live the king. There you are. Perfect. Let us know what you made of all of this in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Where can they get you on Twitter, Gareth?
They can get me on GMorgan04.
That's cool. Yeah, it's quite streamlined. You get me at Adam Cleary, CLERY. The entire What Culture Wrestling family available to you at What Culture WWE. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching your hashtag Good Afternoons. It appears there sometimes.
I was going to say,
only sometimes.
It's going mad.
And we'll see you soon. Bye.